Ladies and gentlemen, it's well overdue, but it's finally here. It's episode 25, at least I think it's 25, maybe 24, 25, of the review season 1. It is also our season 1 finale. Now, this is going to be a little different episode than what you're used to. Usually I go into this long monologue about random stuff about college basketball that makes little to no sense to all of you because I'm still working on that whole, figuring out a monologue thing. That'll be better in season 2, I promise you. We'll go into stories. We'll talk about just debates and everything. We're not doing that today. Today, we are crowning a champion for season 1 in terms of the trivia game, the three-point play. You've seen it across the entire year. We've seen some great moments. We've seen some bad stretches from players. And we finally come down to the final 4 writers, the 4 best, well, 3 best, and then 1 guy you got in as an alternate for this final three-point play. Like I said, episode 24, 25 of the review. Let's introduce our contestants, starting with said alternate, who had been on plenty of times. Actually, the only member of the team to have earned a legitimate 4-point play, along with some help from yours truly, because I was being gentle at the time, and I gave these guys hints all the live long day this year. Please welcome back to the program, stepping in for everyone's favorite Kansas fan, Ariel Putterman, Matt Waldman. Matt, welcome to the program. Go ahead and unmute yourself. Introduce yourself to the team and tell them what you're expecting from yourself today.
Hey, well, I'm just happy to be here, sneaking in as the alternate. Enjoyed my time on the podcast, the times that I did come on. And, just hoping to prove that I belong here by the end of the day.
Next up, our second competitor didn't sneak his way in, but really edged his way in the last real episode, that we did on Instagram Live. Also listened to me call a University of New Haven and Lemoyne College women's lacrosse game. Didn't know he worked for New Haven, but his name is Steve Kirk. The resident Kentucky fan has had a rough year watching Kentucky basketball, but has not had a rough year in the three-point play. Steve, welcome back. And what are your thoughts on today's quiz? You think you're going to do all right? You are muted, Steve.
I am honored to be amongst this crew, and I am looking forward to participating, and I am pretty confident that I will not win.
Well, fun fact here, Steve is actually the odds-on favorite to win solely because of his age and his knowledge of wisdom, yes. Next up is the second odds-on favorite. He plays baseball at Thomas Jefferson University. He's also sitting in a car right now because he neglected to inform us that he had a team dinner scheduled for tonight. He is using a car insurance receipt as his whiteboard tonight, and the sun is really lighting his face up right now, and it's the golden hour in Virginia. His name is Sam Bass.
Yeah, I was going to say it's not the best time to be in a car, but the sun's really hitting my face at such an angle, making me glow. So hopefully I'll be glowing with victory tonight.
I like that. Thank you. And then finally, everyone's least favorite contestant, because he's the one that showed up the most, and that's the only reason he was the number 1 seed. He just got his COVID vaccine. He's feeling a little under the weather, but he still was able to join us tonight. He's the man who acts like he's a Seton Hall fan when he's really a Syracuse fan and knows nothing about either side. His name is Matt Machinsky. He's the boss man, and he's going to fire everybody, at least according to everybody else's statements over the course of the year. Matt, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. It's kind of a lose-lose for me because if I win, everyone's going to hate me and want me out, and I'm probably not going to win. So I'll just leave it at that.
Well, one of you is going to win, guys. So let's get straight into this quiz. I mentioned this to a couple of you who got here a little early. This is inspired from a YouTube channel based out of TSN. That's the Canadian version of SportsCenter, right? The Sports Network. Go check it out. They're called Bar Down. They do these quizzes on hockey stuff. Now, obviously, we do college basketball, so it's a little different. We're going to be trying to do a couple more of these throughout the course of next season as well, interspersed with the by-episode three-point plays. Here are the rules, gentlemen. So you've all brought a whiteboard / paper and writing utensils. There are 10 questions that are going to get progressively harder as we go. There's a bonus round after question 5, and that's going to be important because you only get 3 strikes in this. We're going to call them fouls, though. You get 3 fouls. It's a 3-foul system. You get 3 wrong, you're done. You're out. We'll put you in a waiting room until the end. Or I'll just kick you out, or you can stick around and turn your camera off. I don't know. We'll get to that when we get to that. That bonus round, though, if you get that question right, will give you an extra strike. So if you get there, you get the bonus question right, you then have 4 strikes or however many you have, you add on to 1. Now, the reason I say there are 3 strikes, this is not for score. If you stick around to the end, you have a better chance of winning, meaning whoever's the last man standing is the winner. Also, just so you know, I will answer questions, but not stupid questions. I have direct authority over what questions are stupid that I can and cannot answer. And I have a time limit for each question, guys. Usually I'll give you about a minute and a half to write your answers down, and then I'll have you all show them at once. And that'll be that. Are there any questions before we get started here? Nope, everyone good? Also, feel free to unmute yourselves and have conversations or trash talk as you're writing answers down, because we like personality in this.
Sam sucks.
That was uncalled for, but okay. Are you guys ready for question 1?
Let's roll.
All right, here we go. So we're starting off with a kind of solemn question. The 2020-2021 season, that's what this quiz is about, guys. So this should all be more than fresh in your mind. I know Steve asked me what the topic was earlier, and I told him I can't tell him anything. But you know the theme now. The 2020-2021 college basketball season. It was a year to remember, and it wasn't just because of the play on the court. Mostly, though, because of the stuff that happened off the court, postponements, cancellations of games because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But which team or teams were the first to cancel their basketball seasons because of COVID-19? Looking for a team or multiple teams that canceled their seasons because of COVID-19.
Does that include teams that canceled mid-season?
It can. I can't tell you if a team that canceled their season mid-season was the first one to cancel their season, though. I'll give you about 30 more seconds to write down your answers, or if you're all good, just give me a thumbs up. Sam and Steve are good. Matt is good. Matt is good. All right, guys. Go ahead and flip your sheets, flip your boards. We have Ivy League in Bethune-Cookman and UMES, Maryland Eastern Shore, the Ivies and the Ivies. Gentlemen, if you said the Ivy League, you are correct. Sorry, I had a timer set. Yes, the Ivy League. They canceled their season before the season even started. Matt Majinski not off to a hot start here. Already has his first strike. Get that man out of here as fast as possible. That was a layup, Matt, and I am very surprised at you for not getting that right.
Well, I got a question.
I just overthought it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Sam, you said you had a question?
Yeah, are we allowed to put multiple guesses? I saw Steve and Matt there with multiple teams.
Yes, but there was their top guess, so I'll give it to them there. They wrote it down first. So usually I would not allow that, but
I listed the 8 from the Ivy and the 2 that canceled before the season started.
That's very true. The Ivy League did cancel first, but he does have a point there. So we'll just go with one answer from now on, guys. But they had the correct answer on there, Sam. I appreciate you trying to police my own quiz, by the way. Step off, Mr. Ohio State's a perennial powerhouse. And Virginia's going to win the national championship. Both those teams lost in what round this year, Sam?
The first round, but they'll meet in the championship next year.
Okay. We'll move on to question 2 so we can get rid of that garbage take. Sticking on the topic of COVID-19. Now, for the first time ever, we saw a team that was forced to forfeit an NCAA tournament game, and it was because of a positive COVID test. Which team was forced to forfeit, and which team got the win by no contest because of that forfeit? You need both of the teams. The one that lost by forfeit, the one that ended up getting the win because of that. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Sam is ready. Matt Waldman is ready. Matt Majinski is ready. I can't tell if Steve Kirk Steve, I hope you're not Googling there. I saw a little flash of white light in front of your eyes. You're good? All right. Gentlemen, go ahead and flip your cards / things. Yes, VCU forfeited, Oregon advanced. Everyone got that question right. Matt Majinski atones for his sins of missing question 1, but everybody is relatively safe heading into question 3. Yeah, VCU, that was a tough call for them, though, guys. They had been on a hot stretch out of the A10. They might have even had a chance to beat that Oregon team, but then again, the Pac-12 just had a really good start. Oregon just had the easiest road in their first game. All right, can you guys go ahead and mute your mics? I can hear myself in the background of somebody else. And you can trash talk in between questions and stuff like that if you so choose. But yeah, we'll do that. Question 3 skews to one of you in this room. I'm not going to say which one, though. It involves one of the best quotes of the year, at least in my opinion. It came towards the end of the year. It was succinct, concise, right to the point. You want to know what the quote is? Nod your head yes if you want to hear what the quote is. All right. The quote was, "Everyone in this building should know who the hell I am." So who said the quote, and what were they referring to? Think of this kind of like an essay question as well. If you get the gist of it, I will give it to you. The biggest thing is going to be who said it, though. Again, the quote, "Everyone in this building should know who the hell I am." Sam is ready. Steve is ready. Matt Majinski is ready. Matt Waldman seems deep in thought. He is ready. All right, guys, go ahead and flip your cards. Oh, some very interesting answers here. So does everybody think that Matt Waldman has it right, or does everybody think that Matt Waldman has it wrong? Everyone thinks Matt Waldman has it wrong. He does have it wrong. It was Patrick Ewing. So I've heard multiple accounts of this story from various people, most notably from the resident Georgetown fan here at Syracuse, Daniel Baldwin. Apparently, Patrick Ewing was coming out of the bathroom after they beat Villanova, and the security guard at MSG asked him for his ID. Granted, Patrick Ewing was a pretty big Knicks player back in the day, and he has his jersey in the rafters and name everywhere on that building. So, yeah, tough break for that security guard, but you can kind of see why it was a worry for the guard. Like, it's COVID. You want to make sure everybody who is there is supposed to be there. I don't blame the security guard at all. Do any of you? No. Matt says no. I
don't blame him, but he's got to know who he is.
He's
doing his job, but he's got to know who he is.
I know. Maybe he wasn't as respectful as he could have been, and that's what really got him in hot water. I don't know. Anyway, Matt Waldman has taken his first strike. Didn't take it as early as Matt Majinski did, though, so that's a win for Waldman, that's for sure. We're on to question 4, and gentlemen, it's my favorite sort of question. It's a true or false question. And it involves the Pac-12. So true or false? Well, you know the Pac-12 won 8-0 to start this year's NCAA tournament. But true or false, was it the best start by any conference in NCAA tournament history? True or false? Again, true or false, was the Pac-12's 8-0 start in this year's NCAA tournament the best by any conference in NCAA tournament history? And this is a tough one because, UCLA had that first 4 game. So you never know. You can only go back so far to where the first 4 starts. And that gives them an extra game because they did win that game. Everybody seems. Matt Majinski is ready. Matt Waldman is ready. Steve Kirk is ready. Sam is ready. All right, guys, go ahead and flip them. We have false, 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 and true. Oh, boy. Well, somebody got it wrong. That's for sure. It's just a matter of who. Yes, the Pac-12 went 8-0. It's a start this year's NCAA tournament. It was really, really a really good start for the Pac-12. You have to go back to 2015 to find a start even close to that, guys. It was when the ACC was really good. Duke ended up going to the national title. They beat Wisconsin that year. They started off that tournament 10-0. So the answer is false. Matt Majinski has taken his second strike, and we haven't even gotten to the bonus round yet. I predicted that he would get last before this started. So he's got one strike left. If he can get this fifth question right, though, which I don't have much faith in him to do so, because it was going to skew towards the Kansas fan in the room who hadn't showed up today. But if he can get this question right, he'll head to the bonus round with a chance to earn himself an extra strike. So we head to question 5. Quote, "This hasn't happened in 18 years. It's embarrassing. We're a really good team, and today we didn't show what we're capable of." End quote. That's what Jalen Wilson had to say following Kansas's historic home loss to Texas this year. But tell me, why was the Jayhawks' loss historic? It was a pretty bad home loss that Kansas took to Texas this year. Lost by a lot of points, guys. Lost by 25 points. It was a bad look for Texas. Excuse me, for Kansas, that's for sure. Matt Waldman's ready. Sam Bass is ready. Steve Kirk is ready. Matt Majinski has got to get this question right to stay alive. Are you ready, Matt? All right, guys, go ahead and flip them. Sam, can you move your all right, so we have largest defeat at home. First loss at Allen Fieldhouse against Texas. Largest home loss in KU history at Allen. Largest home conference loss ever. Well, guys, 25 points is significant, and that's why I kind of dropped the hint there. And it did make it the largest margin of defeat in some time. It made it the largest margin of defeat in Bill Self's 18 years at Kansas. So no one got that question right. And as I predicted, Matt Majinski is out, and he is out early. Matt Waldman down to his final strike. Steve Kirk's got his first. And him and Sam Bass in control here early. Matt Majinski, do you have any final words before we send you into a waiting room?
I do not. I would like to view the rest of the quiz if possible, though. I want to see what happens here.
You'd like to just stay on?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and turn your camera off then.
Okay.
Just so we know who's in the quiz and who's not. What a
Just
what a
go ahead and
scrub. What a
the
scrub.
alternate who's not supposed to be here made it longer. Thank you.
Let's go. You can chirp in the chat, guys. Come on, let's go. All right, we head to the bonus round, though. And for those of you who do have 2 strikes, Matt Waldman, and those of you who have 1 strike down, Steve and Sam, you can earn a strike back here. With the bonus round, you'll have 30 seconds to write down your answers to the following question, and 30 seconds starts as soon as I am finished reading the question. List the top 5 scorers by average points per game from this year's NCAA tournament. You do not need to do it in order. Keep in mind, scoring average can be kind of screwed up because people play more games than other people do. Your time starts now. Again, they are looking for the top 5 scorers by point per game average from this year's NCAA tournament. They don't need to do it in order. They just need the 5. You have 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Finish what you were writing and then pens down. Don't show your answers yet. Sam, put your pen down. All right, guys, let's go ahead and show those answers for me real quick. All right. So I'll go from Steve. Steve, do you only have 4? Yeah. Well, everybody only has 4. Well, no, Matt Waldman has 5. No, none of you are completely correct. Max A. Smith is correct. Luca Garza is also correct. Cam Thomas, Io DeSumo, Cade Cunningham. You got to remember, some of these guys played only like 1 or 2 games, so their scoring average was higher because of that. It was a tougher one for the bonus round. No one gets a free strike, but everyone is still alive, and no one gets a strike put on them because of the bonus round. So everyone's still at their current strike total. Again, Steve and Sam have 1 strike apiece. Matt Waldman has 2. So he needs to get this next question right to stay alive in this final episode of the review. Question 6 is somehow may even be the hardest question on this quiz. I don't know how. I will say we did talk about this. A lot of the stuff we did talk about in the podcast over the course of the year. And this one has to do with a pretty major milestone that took place very early in the year. That milestones, of course, always a big part of any sport, especially when it comes to winning and winning consistently. Stanford's women's basketball coach is named Tara Vanderveer. She wins a lot and has won a lot for a long time. And she passed Pat Summitt's win mark early in the 2020-2021 season. Now, as of the end of the season, Vanderveer sits at 1,125 wins. Gino Auriemma also passed this milestone. We're not going to worry about him. I was originally going to ask you guys about him, but I figured, hey, one coach is hard enough to figure this out for. Now, like I said, Vanderveer sits at 1,125 wins throughout her career. If you were to combine the list of the winningest men's college basketball coaches and the winningest women's college basketball coaches, where would Vanderveer sit on the all-time wins list? There are a lot of really good coaches that have been around in college basketball history. Obviously, Bobby Knight, Coach K, Roy Williams. Only so many of them have hit 1,000 wins, and some of them have hit that, but then had wins taken away. But where would Tara Vanderveer sit on the all-time list of just every college basketball coach? Sam shrugs and says, I don't know, but he wrote an answer down, so we'll see what he had to say. He does have a strike to give, though. Steve is ready. Matt Waldman, are you ready? All right, guys, go ahead and show me your answers. We have 2 people saying she is first, 1 person saying she is second. Somebody is right. There are people who are right. And that person is still alive, and his name is Matt Waldman. She is second to Coach K. Coach K has 1,170 career wins. Vanderveer right behind him with 1,125. Auriemma he's 5th on the list right now. He's going to pass the couple of guys in front of him because he's only like 2 or 3 games away from passing them up. But Vanderveer and Auriemma win a lot. They're going to catch Coach K at some point.
That felt like a trick question.
But why did it feel like a trick question?
Because it feels like it'd be easy to say first.
It would, but, that's why it's a hard question. Everyone has 2 strikes now, which means that I hope not everybody gets out on this next question because I really need people to go farther than question 7. And then I have to pull the other questions out as tiebreakers. So, question 7, it involves the Abilene Christian Wildcats. They made their second NCAA tournament appearance this year. On top of that, they got their first win in the tournament in upset fashion over Sam Bass's Texas Longhorns. He has a lot of favorite teams. None of them won in the first round this year.
Whoa. I am not a Texas Longhorn fan. That is one of the teams that I am not a fan of.
I disagree with that. You said you were a Texas fan at some point. Case closed.
No,
Mute your
I said,
microphone, Sam.
Oh, man.
Sam, I have not finished the question. Do not disrespect the quiz master. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, Abilene Christian got their first win in the tournament ever this year against Sam Bass's Texas Longhorns. And they won after this player was fouled with just seconds left in the game and nailed both free throws to put the Wildcats up by 1, and they almost seal the win. It ended up sealing the win for the Wildcats. Who was this player? Sam is distraught. Oh my. If you'd like a hint, he was their best three-point shooter on the team. He was also one of the worst free throw shooters on the team. Matt Waldman has a thumbs up. I saw him raise his head earlier, though, and I don't think he's very confident in his answer. Though he is a mid-major guy, so this is actually kind of in his wheelhouse. I know Waldman's ready. I know Sam's ready. He's shaking his head. He's nervous. He's shaking. Steve Kirk, are you ready?
I'd like to say I'm very confident in my answer.
Are you now? Is it because of the hint I gave you?
No.
Okay. Go ahead and flip your boards, boys. Well, no one's right. Matt Waldman said Reggie Miller, Kevin Durantberg from Sam Bass, and Steve Kirk committing to a comedic performance saying, "Who is someone who hasn't shot free throws in my backyard? Congrats." Oh, wow. So obviously no one got it right, but it's tough because no one is really won because there are 3 people tied at question 7. So
I just like to point out, I think I was the only one that actually named a member of the Abilene Christian Wildcats.
Reggie Miller?
There is a Reggie Miller on there. I'm almost
Is
positive.
there? I did not know that. Unfortunately, I can't give you any credit for that because it's not the right answer. So the answer was Joe Pleasant. He was a 46.5% three-point shooter. He was just under a 60% free throw shooter. So this is awkward. So everybody's out, but
Not everybody's out. Everybody won.
no, that's not true. This is weird. Oh God. Well, Matt Maginski's
Just go to question 8.
Yeah, I might as well. Matt, sorry, bud. You've been out for a while, so you can't hop back into the quiz. If you get the next question,
This is my site, Brendan.
I don't care if it's your site. This is my podcast. Turn your camera back off. Thank you. So we're going to call an audible here because you all got out on question 7. We'll just keep going. If you get the questions right, you'll keep going. If everybody gets the questions wrong here on out, then we'll just have to keep going. The final bonus, I have a tiebreaker question at the very end that would involve people getting out one by one. So if we get to that point and no one can get these questions right, then so be it. If one of you gets it wrong, you're going to be out. And if the other 2 people get it right, and so on and so forth, okay? We'll move on to question 8. This one comes out of the ACC, out of the great state of North Carolina. So back in January, Duke head coach Mike Krzyzewski had a very bad moment because he was just frustrated on how the season was going. His team wasn't playing well. They just lost to Louisville, and a reporter from the Duke Chronicle, his name was Jake Piazza, asked him what the next step forward for the team was after that loss. Coach K, obviously frustrated with how things are going, said, "Yeah, why don't we just evaluate this game? We're not on to the next step yet. We just finished a hard-fought game." Now, he could have stopped there. He didn't stop there. And the Blue Devils head coach asked Jake Piazza a question that was very unnecessary. What was the question? Matt Waldman looks ready. Yes, he is. Sam Bass is ready. Steve Kirk is ready. Flip your boards, by the ways. Let's see him. All right, so Matt Waldman says, "What is your major?" Sam Bass, on his comically small piece of paper, says, "What major are you?" When you fail a test, what do you do? And Steve Kirk says something about a chemistry class. You're all very close. And unfortunately for Steve Kirk, it was not chemistry. His major was economics. So Steve Kirk, the odds-on favorite, will fall here on question 8. Yes, he did ask him what his major was. He then went on to ask him, what's your hardest class? Have you failed a test? He even went so far as to say the reporter didn't have any empathy for the Duke team after their loss, which is really tough to say to a student reporter. Coach K did apologize, but not a good moment for the coach. Steve Kirk, unfortunately, your time with us has come to an end. Oh, good luck to say. Look at that. He's a good sport. We love to see that. Steve, any last words before you turn your camera off?
I'm just glad it's not the game show where you drop off into like the cellar or the
Are you
confetti
talking
or
about
whatever it is.
Ellen's Game of Games?
Yes, yes.
I don't think I've watched that show before, and I don't think it's that good either. So,
Good luck, boys.
thank you, Steve. Go ahead and mute yourself. Turn your camera off. The wisest of us has now gone, and we're left with Matt Waldman and Sam Baz as we move on to question 9. Remember, if you get a question wrong, you are out. Question 9, plenty of schools in every sport, they have what they refer to as the 12th man. You think of the Seattle Seahawks, you think of Texas A&M football, because they say, they have a dominating home field advantage, thus the 12th man. But this team used the number 12 in a different way. Which team used the number 12 as motivation, and why did they use that number as motivation? Matt Waldman is ready. Sam Bass is ready. Matt Waldman, go ahead and unmute yourself and tell us your answer, please.
That'd be the Oregon State Beavers, who were picked 12th in the Pac-12, and they went from 12th to 1st and made the Elite Eight.
Sam Bass?
I'm feeling a lot less confident with my answer because Matt Waldman seems very confident, and I had something completely different. I said University of Florida because of Keontae Johnson. I wasn't sure what number he wore, so I took a shot in the dark there.
Well, you should feel very badly confident in that answer, Sam, because Matt Waldman is correct. Oregon State, everyone's favorite Cinderella story, Ethan Thompson and company. They wore the number 12 throughout the year, yes, because they were picked to finish 12th in the Pac-12 preseason poll. Sam Bass, any final words?
I just want to say I made it farther than Matt Majinski, so my work here is done.
Stay on for a second, Sam, because we're going to see how far Matt Waldman can go. He has won the quiz. He will get a banner, but I'd like to see how far he goes. Question 10, Matt. I'm sure you've watched our podcast pretty much all year. At least I hope you have, because episode 2 focused on a certain 4 schools. They were the 4 D1 debutantes from this year. Can you list them in order of best record to worst by winning percentage? I'll be impressed if you know who the 4 debutantes were this year.
I should probably warn you that I wrote a profile piece on each of those for another site over last
Oh, that's tough. Okay. So he probably does know this answer. Let me know when you're ready, Mr. Waldman.
I'd like to just say that I'm having trouble remembering any of them right now, and I was on that episode.
Oh boy, that's bad. Okay, Matt, are you ready?
I am. I'm confident about the team at the top. I'm not sure about the other 3.
All right,
but I know all 4 of them.
Go ahead and flip your board and read them off to us, please.
So Bellarmine nearly won the Atlantic Sun regular season title. So then I'm just going to say Dixie State, I feel, was better than Tarleton in the WAC this year. UC San Diego, they were playing in the Big West. They had some ups and downs, and then I believe Tarleton was the worst of the 4.
Matt, that is where the road for you ends. Tarleton and Dixie are flipped. You got the other two right. But everybody go ahead and put your mics back on and congratulate your winner from the 3-point play, season 1. From 0 to hero, only got in here because he was an alternate. But Matt Waldman is the winner from season 1. What a comeback. Had the only 4-point play of the year. Also wins the final quiz, and he's going to get himself a banner for whenever he comes on next year. Gentlemen, though.
I have this episode under contest because Matt Waldman did not qualify. Therefore, I should be first place and get the banner. This is all Ariel Putterman's fault, and I'm going to take it up with him.
Sam, was that how you would have thought if Louisville had jumped in before the 48-hour window?
Oh.
They would have lost first game anyway.
Sam,
Virginia.
Because I am the competition committee, I'm going to have to deny that claim of forfeiture. Matt Waldman is the champion. I was convinced that he deserved to be in because he was tied. There were 3 of you who were tied. The only reason he didn't get into the Final Four in the first place was because he wasn't able to show up. And he did bring it to my attention that the scheduling was pretty stacked against him because of his school schedule, being a teacher's assistant and all. But congratulations to Matt Waldman, winner of season 1 of the review. For all of you who watched this podcast throughout the season, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. We'll see these 3 wonderful faces, I'm sure, in the future podcast episodes, either over the summer. By the way, if we get chances to, these lovely gentlemen, along with probably a few others, will be making quizzes of their own, and will be roasting me because I've roasted them all year. If they'd like to do that, please reach out to me. They'll bring some guys on. We'll have guests. We're doing interviews all summer, all spring and summer. They've already started. You'll be seeing those on cbbreview.com. Articles. I believe Matt Majinski is doing one of the top 50 coaching hires since 2000. Great stuff coming up on the website. We'll have IG Lives, I'm sure, at some point, and we'll be lining up guests for next year's podcast. For now, though, guys, standing ovation for Matt Waldman. Don't stand, though, because nobody's going to see you. Clap. Yes, clap it up for Matt Waldman, winner of the review season 1. Sam, enjoy your team dinner. Steve, thank you for joining us. Enjoy your work. Matt Waldman, go teach some kids and tell them that you, sir, are a winner, even though Wofford is not a winner. Other than that, gentlemen, have a wonderful rest of your night. For all of you guys watching, hope you enjoyed season 1. Season 2 is going to be even better. I promise you that. And I'm hoping we're going to have a really big guest for episode 1 coming, I guess, this next fall, probably in August or something. When I'm done with my grad program, have a job somewhere, and can put this together in a more timely manner. Take care, guys. Have a great night. This has been the review, season 1. We'll be back and better than ever in season 2.